Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm doing this video today because I wanted to bring light to some sketchy acts that I believe been going on in boxing. And I know this shit is gonna come to light one of these days, whether it be in 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. And when this shit come to light, I want y'all to remember. I know I'm not the only one to say this, but I want y'all to remember who went hard with this one. Who really believed this shit I'm about to say? Who just didn't just think it's possible? Who actually believes this shit is the truth and this is a fact? What I'm talking about? I think that dude, Manny Pacquiao, is fighting fixed fights. Now, before I explain why these fights are fixed, you gotta understand. You gotta understand. You gotta look at the circumstances on why certain fights were even made with Manny Pacquiao at the time they were made. There's a lot of aspects that we have to look into for you guys to understand exactly what it is I'm saying. I'm gonna start off right now with the Clottey fight. That's the first one I believe was fixed. I give Manny Pacquiao full credit for beating the shit out of Miguel Cotto. I do not believe that fight was fixed. I believe that was a real fight. But I'm going to start off with the Joshua Clottey fight. That's the first one I believe was his first fixed fight. Okay, during the time that fight was made, that fight was supposed to be him and Mayweather in the ring for that date, for those who don't know. But that agreement fell apart. That was in March of 2010. Around that time, if you guys remember, Pacquiao, by some critics, was getting accused of being something like a racist. He was being accused of being a racist towards blacks and having a fear of fighting black fighters. Now, remember the first thing I just said. I just told you that I think it was March 13th. That March 13th date was set for him and Mayweather, but due to the drug testing, that agreement didn't go through. So that fight fell apart. Now, mind you, the fight, that date, that big-ass stadium was supposed to be for him and Mayweather. Let's stay on track. Don't fall off track. Let's stay on track. It was supposed to be for him and Mayweather. Real Bob Arum seen that the fight was not going to go. He grabbed this guy Clottey up. Now, Joshua Clottey, I'm assuming that everybody that watched this video is a boxing fan, so you guys know who Joshua Clottey is. Joshua Clottey was not a household name. He was not a boxing star. The average dude who watched boxing maybe every big pay-per-view event would not know who Joshua Clottey is. Joshua Clottey lost his previous fight before that. So look at the odds against him. He's not popular. He's not a draw. He's not fan friendly. He's neither of those, and neither is he ranked by any sanctioning body to fight the so-called #1 boxer in the world. Right? Let's just get an understanding of what I'm talking about. He's not ranked by any sanctioning body, by the WBA, the WBO, the WBC at the time. He just lost his last fight to Cotto, and he's not a draw. Now, some of you guys will say, so why was the fight made? Why would Pacquiao fix a fight with Joshua Clottey? I'll tell you why. Joshua Clottey was black. At the time, Pacquiao was being criticized. That's a bad thing to be criticized for one. Nobody wants that shit lingering over them. Oh, you're scared of black fighters. So Adams seen this, and he didn't want that shit lingering over Pacquiao's head either. So with the snap of his finger, Joshua Clottey's a top-ranked fighter. He threw Joshua Clottey ass in there. How does Joshua Clottey get a fight in a big fucking stadium like Dallas Cowboys Stadium when he's not even popular and he's not ranked? I'll leave that question to you guys. Now, all the shit I just said about Joshua Clottey, do not get it twisted for 1 second. Joshua Clottey is no bum. Joshua Clottey is not an easy guy to beat. In his 2 biggest losses, he made mistakes in those fights that caused him to fight. He was beating the shit out of Antonio Margarito. He damaged his hand. He nearly knocked out Miguel Cotto. He fell back. He stopped applying pressure and let Miguel Cotto come back and get a lucky decision. So with Joshua Clottey is very strong. His defense is very tight. He's very good at putting combinations together. In a real fight, I'm a realist, man. I'm not into the hype of no boxer. In a real boxing match, Manny Pacquiao cannot beat Joshua Clottey on his worst day. Style-wise, he could not beat Joshua Clottey on his worst day. In the fight, Joshua Clottey is not trying to hurt Manny Pacquiao. If you look at the fight resembles, it looks like a woman trying to beat. It looks like, like when a woman is mad at her boyfriend just swinging at him, he's just pushing her off. That's what it looked like. Like Pacquiao couldn't hurt him, and he wasn't trying to hurt Pacquiao. For 12 rounds. He was just standing there. There was times I seen him, he got the space to use his longer reach, and he just stepped back in to shield up and let Pacquiao punch on him again like a punching bag. That fight was obviously fake. Everything I just said, I want you guys to look into. Look into Joshua Clottey's ranks for any sanctioning body. I don't care which one. Even the IBF. I don't care which one. Look at his ranks for any sanctioning body during March of 2010 and tell me where he was. Tell me was Joshua Clottey a draw? Tell me was Joshua Clottey popular? Tell me was Joshua Clottey established enough to have the first boxing match in Cowboy Stadium? The only benefit of this fight was that he was big, he was strong, and he was black. And Pacquiao was being criticized at the time for avoiding black fighters. Moving on. Antonio Margarito. I believe this fight was fixed. Like, similar to Joshua Clottey, Margarito, he's not as skilled, he's not as talented at all, but he's not that easy to beat either. Look at the circumstances around that fight. I'm going to talk about the bad thing. I want to talk about the cons first of that fight before I get to the pros. Antonio Margarito was banned for 1 year. Although he was banned for 1 year, it was really going to be like he was banned for life because no state was going to relicense the man. You need a license to box. You need a license to box in America. I don't know about other countries. In America, in the state that you're fighting in, you need to be licensed. You need to be licensed. Now, Margarito, that he was banned, and he hasn't fought in a year. He You don't have to ask where was he ranked. This dude was not a fighter. He was not recognized by any sanctioning body. This dude was not. He Margarito's in the same boat as me and you. We're not licensed boxers. He was just a regular man at the time. Ask yourself this. How does that guy go from being completely banished from the sport of boxing completely to getting a fight with the so-called #1 boxer in the world? Okay? Those were the cons. His inactivity and him being banned. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm forgetting the most important one. He was knocked the fuck out brutally. So let's just say even if he wasn't banned, he would have been knocked off the rankings of any sanctioning body after getting a knockout like that. You don't go from getting those knockouts to just jumping back and fighting the #1 guy. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, moving on. Those are the cons. Look at the pros. When I say the pros, these are the reasons why Bob Arum will place Pacquiao in this fixed fight to begin with. Because that's what you guys are. I know that's what you guys are questioning me, my credibility now. Like, why would it even be done? What does he need from this guy? I'll tell you why right now. After Mayweather left Bob Arum around 2006, 2007, Bob Arum was always hyping up this tall Mexican kid named Antonio Margarito and saying Mayweather feared him. So, to make Pacquiao look exclusively dangerous, why not put him with the guy that I have the media saying that Mayweather fears? That's one pro. Second pro was that it was going to be at a weight. It was going to be at a weight, yeah, catch weight, but it was going to be at a weight where I could get my fighter Manny Pacquiao his 8th title. And he will be the only boxer in history to have 8 titles. That's the second pro. You get it? He beats the shit out of the guy that Mayweather's scared of, and he gets his 8th title. 2 beautiful things to have on your resume. You guys understand what I'm saying? Let's just say this was in the Ali era. Let's say Ali feared a guy, and Joe Frazier beat the shit out of the guy Ali feared. That would make Joe Frazier really look like something. I'm just putting that out there for y'all to have an idea of what I'm saying. That I don't go over nobody's head. Those are the pros of why that fight was made. Let's go into the fight. Margarito is swinging his hands out. Margarito's always slow, but he's not that slow. Margarito was giving me the impression like he was not trying to hurt Pacquiao. Margarito, the time when I really knew that this fight was fake was when he had Pacquiao against the ropes. For such a bigger man, you could easily smother the guy to keep him right there. This guy shouldn't even be able to get out of that corner. Especially a guy with that doesn't have the best defense in the world. But he does. And you being known as a body puncher, you couldn't have really hurt him to the body. I'm not buying that bullshit when he cringed. Like, let's say he really did cringe after he got that body shot. Margarito wasn't trying to finish him off. It would have been against the contract that he had, the under the rug contract that he has with Bob Arum. So that fight was fake. Look at all the circumstances I'm talking about. Look at his ranking in the sanctioning bodies. Look at all the circumstances around that fight, man. Don't just be an asshole and and knock off everything I'm saying. Look at the circumstances with those fights and why they were made. Last but not least, and this one is the most obvious fake one of all. The Pacquiao Mosley fight. If you look back on my channel, I think that fight was May 7th, 2011. I did a video either late April or sometime in the first week of May telling you guys how this fight was going to play out. And it's still there. I'm not bullshitting you. It's still there. I told you guys, hey, yo, this fight is going to be fixed because I started to see what Bob Arum was having Pacquiao do. And you notice, I keep saying Bob Arum as if he's the one orchestrating. I had Pacquiao innocent. I didn't think he was participating in this until this fight right here. Until this fight. Now let's get into the cons. Let's get into the cons of this fight. Why this fight shouldn't have been made in the first place. Let's talk about the cons. Mosley was calling Pacquiao out in 2009 and 2010. Pacquiao was only interested in fighting Mosley at 140. There's footage of this. I'm not lying to you. There's footage of this of Freddie Roach saying this shit out of his mouth. He was only interested in fighting Mosley at 140, completely draining him to a fucking skeleton. Con number 2. Mosley got the shit beat out of him in the Mayweather fight. Made him look like an amateur. Made him look real bad. He looked like shit against Margarito. That's 3 cons. Let's get into the pros of why this fight was made. During the time this fight was made, a boxer with a lot of credibility named Bernard Hopkins put out a very truthful statement that Manny Pacquiao avoids the slick style of boxing that predominantly African Americans present when they're in the ring. It doesn't mean that you have to be a black American, but most of the times if you look at black American fighters, when you look at the slick style, is a black dude doing it. It's rare when a white dude does it. Like when a white dude does it, that guy stands out. When a black guy does it, that's just a black guy boxing. That's how usual it is to see it amongst black people. Bob Arum did not want that criticism lingering over Pacquiao's head. What does he do? He had Mosley recently expired his contract with Golden Boy. He basically signs Mosley to become his fucking slave. Mosley was promoting Mosley as being a black slick fighter, and Mosley was never a black slick fighter. But most boxing fans don't even know what that shit is. They just hear the word black American. Mosley's black and American. Oh, he's a slick fighter. Because most people don't know what a slick fighter even looks like. What is slick boxing? Most people do not know what it is. Just like most people don't know what it means to use angles. I'm gonna get into that in the next video. That's one pro. Mosley's a so-called black American slick fighter. Another pro of that fight was he's gonna beat, due to the fixed contract he had with Bob Arum. Pacquiao was gonna beat the shit out of Mosley way worse than Mayweather did. You know, to outshine him. And if you look at the fixed fight, it kind of backfired against Pacquiao because the way Mosley was participating in this fixed fight, it bothered Pacquiao. It didn't make him look good. It made him look like shit. Like Mosley wanted to present himself as the scared guy. That was the facade that Mosley was presenting. That I'm scared of Pacquiao. I do not want to engage this little guy. And Pacquiao was supposed to be the hunter. But Pacquiao, being that he doesn't like, he cannot handle a moving target, Pacquiao appeared very clumsy and very fucking amateur. If you look at that fight, the knockdown was just a grazed punch. What does Mosley say? Mosley say that's the most power he ever felt in his whole career. I beg you guys to go back and watch the first Vernon Forrest fight when Vernon had Mosley very badly hurt. If the bell hadn't rang, Mosley would have been knocked. That would have been Mosley's first knockout loss. Mosley was very hurt. He couldn't. For a second, he had a hard time walking back to his stool in the corner. He was very hurt. There's video proof of this. Mosley was very hurt. Not just he wasn't just tagged. He was hurt. Legs gone and everything. But he says this punch that grazed the top of his head was the most power he felt in his 19-year career. Obviously bullshit. Obviously bullshit. If you look at that fight, you see a lot of opportunities that Mosley could have countered Pacquiao lunging in. He did not want to take advantage of these opportunities because he was very reluctant to hurt Pacquiao. He could not hurt Pacquiao. That was in the deal. He could not hurt Pacquiao. After the fight, Mosley says, "You're the pound-for-pound champ. You know, you're the best." To make it look like Mosley's the only guy that experienced both fighters in recent times, and you know, the average boxer fan is gonna believe anything Mosley says, speaking about both fighters. So, to make the average fan believe that Pacquiao is the better man, those are the pros of that fight. Now, and another thing, if you watch that fight too, this is when I realized that Pacquiao is in the dirt too. Like, he's not innocent. I caught Pacquiao whispering in Mosley's ear. I think it's the last 45 seconds of the 6th round. I don't know. I could have had the time wrong. Just watch the 6th round of that fight. You're going to get into a clinch. You're going to see Pacquiao talking in Mosley's ear. Look at his eyes. Look at his eye gestures. Because you can't fully see his lips. But look at his eyes. You could tell that he's speaking. I don't know what he's saying to Mosley. He's probably saying, you know, stop moving. I need to hit you. It could be anything. But who gives a fuck? The fight is clearly fixed. You know? And to kill any other speculation on whether this is true, let's talk about the benefits these guys got after throwing that fight. Clottey. For those of you that don't know and don't really follow my channel, I live in Brooklyn, New York, yo. A lot of you don't know this, but Joshua Clottey ain't no rich dude. Prior to this fight, Joshua Clottey lived right there in the Bronx. He lived right uptown. Right in a building. Right in an apartment building in the Bronx. You know? But Joshua Clottey was never popular. Like I said, he was never the richest fighter. He was never a draw. What's to say, like, Joshua Clottey, he got a nice payday. That's what he got. That was his benefit, a nice payday. And the funny thing, if you remember, Joshua Clottey, they had the thing called Road to Dallas. He said, I remember he had a daughter back in Africa. He just wanted to get in contact with his daughter, you know. He obviously wasn't that financially stable. So he got a nice payday. Where's Joshua Clottey now? Joshua Clottey is enjoying is enjoying. I'm assuming he's enjoying his money in Ghana because he not in the Bronx. He ain't there no more. He not in the Bronx no more. I'm assuming he's in Ghana enjoying his money and chilling. He probably don't need to fight again for a couple of years. Margarito, his benefits is the most easy to spot. The dude was banned. He was not gonna. Let's just be honest. No state was gonna relicense him. So you could pretty much say he was banned for life. Because after the ban period of 1 year, he was gonna have to get relicensed, and no state was gonna relicense his ass. He already got denied a couple times. He gets to box again. First off, he gets a nice payday. Let's remember that. The dude ain't fighting a year. He has bills to pay. He gets a nice check. And he gets relicensed. And now he has opportunities to make money again in the future. And now he's going to fight Miguel Cotto. Because that fight sells itself. Because people want to know, did he really cheat against Cotto? Could he beat him again? That fight is going to sell itself. That's the benefit Margarito got. What's the benefit Shane Mosley got? Shane Mosley just got the shit beat out of him by Mayweather. He just looked like shit against Mora. People were pretty much turning against him. He was not going to have another pay-per-view fight, not even another big fight. Shane Mosley was going on the path of just being a fucking journeyman. Whatever happens, happens. If he wins a fight, he wins a fight. Shane Mosley now, he got a nice check, and he has opportunities. I guarantee you, Shane Mosley is going to fight the winner of that Margarito Cotto fight. I guarantee you. I guarantee you Shane Mosley is going to fight the winner of that fight. Those are the benefits of those fixed fights. Now, for everybody, after listening to this video, I want y'all to all go back into those dates. Go back into November of 2010. Go back into May of 2010. Of 2011. And go back into March of 2010. And look and do your little basic research. It's nothing hard. It's not no rocket science. And you will see the circumstances as to when these fights were made and why they were made. I even want this video to be this long, but this shit couldn't be said in no shorter period of time. So I'm gonna leave it like that, know what I mean? Manny Pacquiao's in fixed fights. His last 3 fights is not real to me. I don't have no respect for this dude, man. This dude takes steroids and he fights fixed fights. That's my opinion. I don't have nothing personal against this dude. I'm not interpersonal anything with these fighters. I don't know these guys. These guys are not my friends. I don't have no hate towards Filipino people. I don't have no hate towards short people. Any of those stuff that I get in my comments when I criticize Manny Pacquiao, all that shit is irrelevant to me. I don't respect cheaters in anything. I do not like a cheater, man. I don't like a liar either. And this dude is doing both. So now that I hopefully opened y'all eyes, when this shit do get exposed, because what's in the dark gonna have to come to the light, man. I want y'all to remember who went in on this shit first. And remember, this is not something that I thought, this is not something that I think is possible. This is what I honestly believe. That these 3 fights were fixed due to the circumstances. Alright, man, I'm out of here, yo. 1.